It is so hot in Utah right now. I've actually showered for the second time today because it was so hot and so sweaty, like it was just gross. So know that I am freshly showered and smelling fresh for this video. Not that you really care. Hello friends, my name is Shayla and I am back with the part 2 of my second quarter book haul. So I have all of my regular books here. Part 1 was all of my manga because I accumulated so much in the second quarter, and I know that not everybody loves manga, so I broke it up into 2 parts. So the first part is all the manga. That's already up. I will leave that linked down below for you. And then these are all the books. So I have them broken up into books I purchased, books I was sent, and Page Habit books. Because I've been ordering Page Habit books for 4 months now, and for some reason I didn't get the March one in my previous haul. It must have come just after, so I have all 4 of those because my June one's already come. So let's actually start with those. The March Page Habit book was Blood of the Four by Christopher Golden and Tim Leben. I don't know too much about this. I know it's a fantasy because I get the fantasy box. And that we follow Fella. This is like an old kingdom. This is very much a kingdom feeling. Blessed by the gods with lives of comfort and splendor, the royal elite routinely perform their duties. Yet some chafe at their role. A young woman of stunning ambition, Princess Fella, refuses to allow a few obstacles, including her mother the queen and her brother the heir apparent, stand in the way of claiming ultimate power and glory for herself. So this is, of course, about a strong female character, and I'm about those stories. So, yeah, I like to go into these kind of blind, and the cool thing with Page Habit, as you know, is they annotate them, and with 2 authors, you get 2 sets of annotations, so I'm really excited to dig into this one soon. I plan on doing a try a chapter book tag with these here soon, so if you have opinions now, let me know down below. The April book was The Wolf by Leo Karu. Little blurb from the back is war, rivalry, and honor in a world where the fiercest enemies are always closer than they seem. I really like the aesthetic of this. And this is going to be, I'm assuming, a darker fantasy. And I'm kind of here for it, actually. It's blurbed by Paul Hoffman, Michael Dobbs, Gareth Powell. But yeah, again, the annotations. I like knowing authors' thoughts and their processes as they write. So again, I'm really excited about this one. The May Page Habit box included a book called Mem by Bethany C. Moreau. Like, you can't tell. This is like a vellum outside, and then underneath is this. Oh, it's just stunning in person. The camera will never do it justice. This is a 20s-based fantasy. I'll just read the first paragraph of the little blurb in here. The roaring 20s are in full swing, and technological advancements have led to a rather unusual but fashionable practice. The elites of Montreal are having unpleasant memories extracted from their minds, but the memories exist as mirror images of their sources, creatures known as memes. This sounds super intriguing. This is one that's probably, like, if I had to rank them, this would be number 2, because the June one is, like, high on my list. So let's just talk about that, shall we? So, the June fantasy box contained a very highly anticipated book this year, and that is Trail of Lightning by Rebecca Roanhorse. This is a Native American-based urban fantasy novel. Her little annotation on the front is cute. It's "Welcome to the 6th Ward. Look inside," for my annotations, of course. But she's got a few in there, so I'm excited about that. And this, like, has to do with, this is kind of like a post-apocalyptic urban fantasy. The Navajo reservation, everybody's thriving there while the rest of the world is kind of not. So this is kind of about how they get that way, and I just love the aesthetic of this. It says everything to me. I'm so excited. Again, I am super excited. I'm really liking what's coming in my Page Habit. I just need to sit down and read them. So the next stack that's relatively small are the books that I was sent from authors or sent for review from publishers. And then one I got a NetGalley arc of, but my husband had already pre-ordered the physical book, so that's why I'm just going to show it here. And we'll start with that one because that's the only one in a different medium in this haul, because it's a little comic collection. This is Little Moments of Love, a Katana Comics collection. Now, if you don't follow Katana Comics on Instagram, I highly suggest you do. This is about a girl and her bearded boyfriend and just kind of their everyday life. And so much of this is mine and my husband's relationship that we found this ages ago. Like, we found her account forever ago before we found out she was making a book. And so none of this was really new for me, but the quality of the book is really nice. The pages are nice and thick, and it's a nice hardback. So if you've not read any Katana Comics yet and want to get familiar, this is a great way to do that. I do wish there was a little more original content for the people that follow her regularly. That was like my only complaint about it. Other than that, it's absolutely fantastic. Her art style is super cute, and you see some of her older ones in here, so you can see how it's evolved. And so that was really fun to see as well. So I definitely recommend picking this one up just because I think you should go and support her. She's super cute. I just really like it. The next one is one that I was sent from the author, and then the rest in this stack were all sent actually from the same publisher. So lucky me. So this is a little novelette. This is Midnight's Eternal Prisoner by Matthew Pungator. I don't know how to say his last name. Sorry, Matthew. My bad. This is a little horror novelette. Like, this is pretty gruesome. The writing is really good. It really left me wanting more. So I ended up landing on 3 stars with this because the writing was... Okay, let's get up to the 5 books that my friends at Forever Romance have sent to me. They are so kind to continue to send me books. I do try to review all their books on my channel. I think I've got 1 left to review, and I just finished that this week, so that's probably why you haven't seen it yet. So let's start with one of my favorites, one of my most anticipated of the year, and that is More Than Words by Mia Sheridan. You guys know my love of Mia Sheridan. She's absolutely fantastic, and I really am looking forward to anything she writes. Like, I just adore this. This particular one, we follow Jessica and Callan, who knew each other as children. They were both kind of running away from crappy situations, and they would meet in a boxcar and just hang out and talk, and they were just friends as kids. Anyways, many years have passed, and they come across each other again in France, of all places, and things ensue from there. As you guys know, Forever Romance is going to mean this is a romance-heavy book. The smutty times were really good in this one. I really enjoyed it. So definitely pick that one up. Again, I will leave all reviews and stuff down below or in cards for you guys to check out. The next one we're going to talk about is The Last King by Kate Robert. In The Last King, we follow Samara and Beckett. In this, they're both lawyers competing at opposite law firms. Well, not really law firms. They're the legal teams for oil companies, basically. And they have this banter back and forth that I really enjoyed. And they're both very independent creatures. Anyways, 6 months previous to the start of this novel, they can't deal with the sexual tension between the two of them in the courtroom, so they hook up. 6 months later, Beckett's father has passed away under somewhat mysterious circumstances. They're having to work closely together because his aunt is the one running the competing company. And yeah, it's all sorts of good times. I will leave my review of this one for sure for you, because I get a little more in-depth there, but it was good. Next up is going to be Then There Was You by Miranda Liason. Anyways, this is an Angel Falls novel, so there's going to be more in this series in early 2019, just verified. So we follow Sarah and Colton. Sarah is a gal who was left like the day before her wedding by her groom, and Colton was his best man, and so she blames Colton for what happened. And so, again, another couple with history. This is a trope I really like, can you tell? So this is a couple with history. Not only did they grow up together, but they have that in their past and so much more. And it's small town. He's the police chief. She works at her father's medical practice, and she works part-time at the hospital as well. And it's just all sorts of sweet small town goodness. I really enjoyed this one. Next one is my most recent book review, and that was It Takes Two by Jenny Holiday. This is book 2 in the Bridesmaids Behaving Badly series, And I really enjoy this series. I loved Wendy and Noah. That's the couple we follow in this particular novel, and their banter back and forth was everything to me. Noah is the older brother of the bride in this one, and Wendy was the best friend to said bride. And they kind of have always had feelings for each other, never really acted on it. This is so good, guys. Like, the smutty times are super good in this one. Go check it out. And the last one is my most recent read, and that is Heart of Glass by Nicole Jacqueline. And I really ended up enjoying this one for different reasons. The smutty times that you get in this are fantastic, but it's very few in number compared to some of the others. There's only really a couple of smutty scenes in here, so if that's not really your thing, I would still recommend picking up this series. This is actually book 3 in a series. They're all companion novels, so you don't have to read them in order. But in this one, it's all tied to a family where they fostered kids a lot, and they adopted a few. And so the main girl in this book, Morgan, ended up in their house as a foster for a while. Anyways, she ends up having a relationship with one of the brothers in the family, Henry. She gets pregnant, but they don't stay together. Anyways, in the beginning of this novel, Henry has passed away in a training accident because he's in the military. And he had shortly before then put all of his life insurance benefits in his daughter's name and sent it on. So that got sent to her when he passed away. But anyways, so in comes big brother Trevor. He wants to get to know the daughter Henrietta, who goes by Etta, and get to know Morgan as well, because he doesn't remember her right off, but she immediately remembers him. And the dynamic is really interesting in this one. This is much more a family and character-driven novel rather than a smutty romance novel, and I actually really enjoyed it for that. I'm getting rambly here. I don't know why I feel like I have to give you full reviews of these. Anyways, review coming soon on this one. As you guys might remember, I didn't really love the story in the Great Coat series, but I really liked Sebastian de Castel's writing. So I decided to pick up his Spellslinger series, and I've got the first 2 in that one. I have already read Spellslinger, really enjoyed it. I'm very much looking forward to Shadow Black, which is book 2, and book 3 is out or coming out soon. I ordered these on Book Depository because they're not out in the US yet, as far as I can tell, but I am super excited for everything going on in these. This is more of a Western style fantasy. It's really hard to explain, so I'm not going to try. I plan on doing a review of these pretty soon, but like the magic system is fairly complicated and I really liked it. Just know I liked it and go try it. Next up is completing a series on my shelf. I still need to read this one. I'm hoping to read it soon, but I finally got a copy of The Raven King by Maggie Stiefvater. As you know, I have them all in the paperbacks. They're actually right here, if I can touch right there. And so I finally need to get around to reading The Raven King and finishing off this series. Next up is actually my July buddy read with April over at April Sarah. As you guys know, she's usually linked somewhere, either in the cards or down below. She's one of my favorite people. She's just amazing. Go check her out if you haven't. And so we are buddy reading Sybil Secret next month. This is the sequel to Wildwood Dancing, which we buddy read quite a while back. I might have to actually flip through that and give myself a refresher before digging into this one, but I'm really excited. After I'm done with Tome Topple, we're picking this up. The next one in this stack is Ash Princess. This one's by Laura Sebastian. I've heard kind of mixed things, but mostly on the good side for this one, so I decided to go ahead and give it a try. This cover is much more stunning in person than it will ever show up on a camera. Like, it's fantastic. But, you know, I'm all about... The 4 words you get on the back are princess, prisoner, orphan, rebel. Those are all things that I really enjoy in novels, so I am super hoping that this ends up being a good pick. Next up is one I've been hearing about for a long time, and that is the first book in the Great Library series, and that is Ink and Bone. I am really excited to be finally giving this series a try. Most of my friends, some of them aren't on BookTube anymore, but most of my friends that have read this have ended up adoring it, so I am really looking forward to this one. Next up is a highly anticipated sequel for me this year, and that is Bright Burns the Night by Sarah B. Larson. This is the conclusion to her duology. This is a very light Swan Lake retelling, and I just really like the story for what it is on its own. Swan Lake or not, I'm really loving this. I plan on doing a full series review after I read this one, so look forward to that coming soon as well. Next up is a really fun book that I'm excited to get into as well, and that is The Forgotten Book by Matilda Glasser. So Matilda Glasser wrote The Book Jumper, which is one of my favorite reads of last year. I don't think it actually made my top 10, but it was still one of my favorites, and I think about it often. So she's got another book. I don't believe they're actually related. They just had the books kind of look similar. So these are translated works. She's German. And I really think whoever did the translation on The Book Jumper did a fantastic job. And I think it's the same person in this one. I'm not 100% sure that did the translation. But yeah, I am really excited to be digging into more of Matilda Glasser. Next up was a really fun romp. Take that quite literally. And that is My Lady's Choosing, an interactive romance novel. This is by Kitty Coran and Larissa Zagaris. And there is a female-female romance potential in here if you want it. But this is like the old school choose your own adventure story romance style. And I found this to be really fun. I am going to go ahead and send this on to my library. I read it a couple months ago just because it's not one I think I'll revisit on my shelves. And as fun as it is, I think it belongs in a library where more people can enjoy it. So I'm going to go ahead and send that on. But no, I gave this 4 stars. I really did enjoy it. I just think it's going to get the kind of love it needs in a place like a library where people can pick it up on a whim and really enjoy it. The next 3 are all part of the same series. I think I've got more in this series. I don't think I've hauled any in this series yet. Anyways, so I'm just going to use these as representation because you can check out my Instagram if you want to see the other covers. And so I've got these 3 novels in the Dark Hunter series. So I'm currently reading Seize the Night, just kind of when I need a break from my other books. And then I've got Sins of the Night and Unleash the Night. Yes, these are paranormal, smutty romance books. They are palate cleansers for me. I enjoy them every so often. And yes, that is a guilty pleasure of mine. I now have a whole shelf dedicated to guilty pleasures. Oh, I didn't even mention, if you didn't notice, I've rearranged my shelves. If you guys want to see a bookshelf tour, go ahead and let me know down below, and I will see about doing that. So I've got 2 more books here, so it's not a painfully long one for you guys. I got the next book in the Dresden Files, which is Full Moon. This is book 2. I read the first book beginning of this quarter, and I really enjoyed it. So I do want to continue on with this series, hopefully soon. This is a nice, floppy, tall paperback. I love that they're publishing them in this. Rock Fantasy, thank you for that. This is basically an urban fantasy mystery series following a quirky character who is a wizard and calls himself a wizard in the phone book. And it's just really fun. I think it's a great time, so check them out if you haven't. And last but not least on this list is a sequel, and that is Winterglass by Lexa Hillier. This is the sequel to Spindlefire. I really liked Spindlefire. That was another one that I buddy read with April Sarah. I'm hoping that we'll buddy read this one as well. If she doesn't end up getting around to picking it up, then I'll probably just read it here soon anyway, just because I'm really excited to see where this story ends up. I believe it's just a duology. I don't think it's a trilogy. If it's a trilogy, I might cry, because I'm ready for the conclusion of this series. Anyways, guys, that's a relatively small haul for an entire 3-month period, but I did primarily buy a lot of manga, so if you really want to see that, definitely check out the links. And thank you guys so much for watching this video. Let me know your favorite purchase of the last quarter or the last month, depending on how often you do your hauls. And I will see you guys in the next video. Again, if you're new, I'm Shay. Welcome. Please subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.